Welcome to Village in Motion. It is Friday, February 15th. I am Clint Lambert, and I have the pleasure of being the host today. And I have two wonderful individuals in the studio with me this morning in the form of David Taylor, who is our sales director, and Dawn Donnelly, who is our new sales counselor. And we are very glad to have both of you with us.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're happy to be here.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
And how are sales?
Well, we're busier than ever, I think. You always end a year and you come off a really great high of, making your numbers and getting great new residents in to the community, and then it's kind of, you just get right back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And so, first month down of 2019, and actually we came in, ahead of where we wanted to be. So, got two extra additional folks moved in than what we had planned. We wanted to get in, 6 folks in January, and we got an 8. So, hey, that's great. Our occupancy was exactly where we wanted it to be, coming in right around about 97.8. Yesterday, Dawn and I were talking before we got on the show, and she's like, "Where are we in occupancy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, we're 97.9. So, we always are tracking daily kind of where our occupancy rate is. We know that's an important metrics to always make sure that sales is keeping a focus on. And just had some really great events, brought in some great new folks as well that have never been to our campus through some different luncheons in January. And so it's been a fun start of the year. And now we're halfway through February.
Right.
Can't believe that, which means spring's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So that's typically when our uptick of folks wanting to move in, because everybody wants to move in during the spring.
Right.
Well, we're, about a month and a half right around the corner.
Yeah.
So,
How many empty apartments do we have right now for people?
So right now we have, I want to say right around 17 or 16 apartments available right now, which it was interesting. I was talking to my resident committee yesterday at our team meeting, and I was saying, if you think about where we were in November, October of last year,
in the 30s,
we had 36, 40 apartments available. So right now, being at 16, 17 apartments is just a huge kind of kudos to the team and all the folks that have been interested in moving in. And so we're so grateful for all the new residents that we've brought in so far.
Very good.
Yeah.
What is the goal for a monthly basis? I mean, are you trying to bring 12 people in a month, or 15 in a month? I'm noticing what.
Yeah, you know what? What's interesting about that is it fluctuates, right?
Okay.
So, we have a goal this year of wanting to bring in 154 new families, right? And so over the course of the year, the months are going to fluctuate. We could have, for instance, January, we wanted to bring in 6, we got 8. February, the goal would be to bring in 16 new families. Right now we're projecting that we're probably going to bring somewhere around 13, 14. But if you carry over the 2, we'll still be right where we want to be. So it fluctuates. We try to spread out those 154 families where we feel like we're going to have, more moves come in versus not so many. Typically the winter months, it's a little slower. Whereas in the spring months, it could be a little higher. So it just depends.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we have 2 sales counselors now.
Oh.
As we looked at kind of our business model and the type of how many people we were bringing in, we really felt like, gosh, you know what? Sheila has done a great job, but we would love to have a second sales counselor, be, in that role with her and be her kind of teammate amongst the entire team. And so, Dawn here, gosh, we asked her last year when she was a sales associate, hey, can you do more? She rose her hand and she rose to the challenge. And she really was actually a sales counselor, back in May. She was taking appointments. She was working with all of our first-time visitors. She was helping Sheila strategize and figure out, hey, what's the best way we can bring new families in? And so at the end of the year, we rewarded her with, being our officially second sales counselor. Yes. She'll tell you that was probably a long time coming. I probably could have done it last year, but you know what? She's here now, so it's all good. We're really happy to have her.
Don, what does it mean to be a sales counselor versus being a sales associate?
Well, it means that it's Sheila and I's main responsibility to meet with first-timers and non-depositors and depositors to keep moving them forward and hopefully reserving them. So that's our main responsibility.
So you're the one that really has the contact with the new potential individuals.
Absolutely, sort of from beginning to end, from the first experience. I mean, sometimes they're coming to an event first, and then, of course, all of the sales associates are sharing sort of that responsibility. But once they come into the office and have an appointment, it's primarily with Sheila and I, and then just moving them forward through the process and sort of understanding where are they in the process, and so what's the roadblocks. I mean, because we meet with so many people that they want to make the move, but for various different reasons, it's challenging to make that move. So helping them in that process, and maybe it's having our personal moving consultants go out, or maybe it's just having them come back and visit and see different apartment homes or come to different events to help them get more comfortable with the community, or maybe having lunch, or we do this program called Experience Greenspring, where we have a 1-bedroom apartment home where they can come and spend the night, and we can kind of make it be whatever they like.
So you spend one night?
One night, or they could stay 2.
Oh, okay.
But just kind of helping them see what would life be like within the community. So there's all different avenues that we can take to help them feel really comfortable with this next step in their journey and thinking about Greenspring as their next home.
How many contacts with a potential new person do you have to make before they sign the dotted line?
Gosh, that's like the crystal ball magical question, I think.
Well, the reason I asked that is I used to raise some money for an organization I was associated with, and the philosophy was you had to meet with them 7 times. You had to ask them 7 times before you got $1 out of them.
That's funny.
Thing. And I didn't know if the same thing applied.
I don't know if we had that statistic, but I can tell you that Sheila and I last year combined, we met with 1,577 people.
Wow.
In order to get that 152 settlements.
So that's more than 3 a day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's really why we saw the need to bring on a second sales counselor, because Sheila's only one person.
Right.
She can only do so much. And when David was saying we really see the kind of the business changing. One, there's a lot more options out there. There's more choices for people to, for other communities, and also more choices in the home. Again, the other daunting part is the whole downsizing.
Right.
I mean, that's really what we see too. So we just felt the need to have a second sales counselor so we can meet with all the people that we need to meet with.
Sounds good. Well, you're bringing people in all the time, their potentials, right?
Yeah.
And you've got something coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so our event program is always one of the greatest drivers on kind of showing folks the experience here at Greenspring, and not new to this community. Next Friday, February 22nd, we will be having our Grand Home Expo event.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of residents are familiar with that. We take over one of the clubhouses. This one is going to be in Hunter's Crossing. Should not impact dining, so that's why we're happy to be in Hunter's Crossing, because we're not having to take over a dining venue. But it's an opportunity for, we have a good number of prospect residents, whether they're on the wait list or have yet to join the wait list, they can look at apartments, as well as hear a little bit about custom interiors. We're kind of highlighting custom interiors this time as a way of, hey, how do you make these apartment homes into your home? And so they'll be able to hear from Janet Storier, our custom interiors coordinator, as well as get to meet with some of the team and try to figure out what their next steps are. Great opportunity to see a lot of apartments, and I thank all the residents in advance who have opened up their homes for that event, who are helping to volunteer as hall monitors and greeters during that event. So just really thank you, all the support from not only residents but staff. It's what makes those events so successful.
Well, hey, we do what we can.
Hey, we appreciate it. We really, really do.
Because if you don't bring them in, if something happens to us when we leave, or whichever way we leave, then our apartments don't sell, right?
That's right. I mean, that's why we always want to make sure we have a healthy group of people coming in. We always want to make sure, a lot of folks ask, well, gosh, if you're at, 97.9, 98, 98.5% occupancy, why are you all pushing so hard? Why do you have 35 to 40 events a year? And it's just for that reason, right? We want to make sure that we have a lot of folks looking at our community, because, as Dawn indicated, there's a lot of options out there.
Right.
So we can't just rely on the fact that we have this great occupancy. We have to keep pushing the needle and making sure that more folks come in, because we want to maintain that occupancy. Sometimes we even want to exceed it.
Right.
So that's the whole push for, let's keep having events, let's keep making it fresh and new, and let's have as many people as we can see this wonderful community that you all get to live in every day.
Let's just say that I have a friend that wants to come in now, today.
Yeah.
If they came in today, could they select an apartment today?
Yeah, what we always tell folks, even with folks who meet with Dawn maybe for the first time, or Sheila for the first time, is we're always going to have a handful of apartments available.
Okay.
So if you have someone who's like, gosh, they have to move right now, Absolutely. Give us a call. We'll set you up with one of our sales counselors, and we can make that happen. I think where the wait comes, and I always tell folks that your preferences are really what drive the wait time, right? But if you just want to come in and start experience the lifestyle here at this community, we're always going to have a handful of apartments available.
But if someone came in and they really needed to come in, a family member, they moved in, and they moved into whatever was available. They didn't really like the location or the apartment. They could switch apartments later, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. So we do have folks that will move in from time to time that say, hey, you know what, we want to move into this apartment, but we do want to stay on that wait list and transfer to a different apartment if one becomes available that's more towards the preferences that we're looking for.
Okay.
Always tell folks, work with our sales counselors. They'll be able to walk you through what that transfer procedure looks like, but we have folks that do that from time to time.
Okay. What would you really encourage residents to do to help you out?
One thing that I love, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Dawn on the show as well to kind of introduce her as the sales counselor is I love when you see us in appointments and we're walking folks around and people say hi and just kind of engage our customers, and then we always leave those types of interactions and they're like, did you stage them there? I'm like, yes, we did. Checks in the mail.
We're gonna pay him later.
That's right.
That's right.
But no, I think that's what makes this kind of a wholesome, family-oriented, home-like setting is the fact that when we're with our potential residents and potential folks looking to move here, having that ability just to interact with residents, helping us out at our events, saying hi to them when you see us walking them around on tours. That's what makes this experience authentic. And I don't know, Dawn, if you have anything to add to that.
Absolutely, I agree with everything David said. I mean, just saying hi in the hallways and saying you're gonna, like, sometimes I pass people and they're like, you're gonna love it here. I was showing an apartment the other day in Jackson Court to a woman who was thinking about reserving, and 3 of the neighbors happened to be kind of coming in and out of their apartments while we were showing, and they all stopped in and said hi and said,
wonderful.
we meet for dinner. We'll take you to dinner when you move in. I mean, that just made my potential resident feels so good and comfortable, and she reserved that afternoon.
Wonderful.
So it's those little things that mean a lot, because I mean, we all know making this move is a big move and a big change. Even though it's a positive move, it's a big change, and that really helps. My mom has lived in one of our communities for 15 years. My mom lives in our Philadelphia community called Ann's Choice. So I went through that process with my mom, and I know what a big move it can be, and those little things of having a friendly community makes all the difference.
Well, very good. Well, I think the two of you make a tremendous difference for all of us in regards to it. And your department just really shines in every way.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it. It's one team.
Our pleasure.
It's definitely one team. Like I said, we couldn't do it without the residents and all of our team members and all the different departments. So they really make a difference. So thank you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing, and keep them coming.
We'll keep doing it.
All right.
Thanks.
That's good. Thanks again. We look forward to you being back. Okay.